Hello and welcome to Middle Market Executives Thought Leader Network, where we speak to middle market business leaders about the key drivers of growth across the nation. Today we speak to Woody Whitcomb, CFO and co-founder of LaFamilia Pawn and Jewelry, a private equity-backed 24-location chain of large format pawn shops that include 11 stores in Puerto Rico. We begin by asking Whitcomb about why the industry appears to have recently captured the attention of private equity investors.
Over the past, I would say, 10 years, the pawn industry's gotten a lot of notice because there are three public companies that have done pretty well, performed very well in the stock market. And part of the reason for their performance has been that they've expanded outside the borders of the United States and gotten international.
So it's really an international opportunity that private equity's been eyeballing. But what's happening here in the States? What's the domestic market about?
From a pawn industry standpoint, it's pretty fragmented. There's a lot of mom and pop operators, and the ability to operate in a state is pretty much defined by the pawn laws in each state. So there are certain states that pretty much are out of the question, because their pawn laws are not favorable to running a profitable pawn operation. And most of the good pawn states are located in the southeast, and there's been a lot of saturation by the pawn shops in the favorable states. So the next likely step was to go international, and that's met with a lot of success. In particular, in Mexico, where one of the public companies, First Cash Financial, started operations there several years ago, and they've done very well. The fact that pawn companies can now, have a large international presence has opened up the investing community to consider pawn shops more than they did in the past. And what I think caught the eye of the private equity investors that we got was the fact that we had a Hispanic focus, and our focus was to go outside the United States, in particular to starting with Puerto Rico, and then hopefully to other Latin American countries. And the good thing about Puerto Rico was that it was a largely untested market. There weren't any large single competitors there, so we pretty much were able to get in there and blaze a trail. So that was very favorable to our first investor, and then we picked up another institutional investor, which was a private equity fund that was based in Puerto Rico, and they're very aggressively pushing us to expand into other international markets in Latin America.
What does this mean for your finance function? Touching upon the multi-currency issues and everything that perhaps to date this firm hasn't had to deal with.
Right now our finance and our accounting function is a pretty basic one. We don't have anybody here with international expertise. So what we've done to supplement ourselves is make sure that we chose an outside auditor with a global presence. We switched from a local auditor here in Florida. And one thing that we've learned in Puerto Rico is that there are a lot of tax laws, maybe not very obvious tax laws that once you get in and start operating about after the fact, that we were going to have to pay a significant amount of more taxes than we expected to. Legislation occurred, subsequent to when we first, started our operations there, that taken an even larger, bite out of our revenues because of additional taxes. So, that's one thing that we'll certainly pay attention to. Are the tax implications of moving into other countries? We need to make sure that we take a very sophisticated approach to understanding, how the laws are structured so that we can maintain a profitable operation. And that we understand the intricacies of the national laws in these countries, so that we make sure that we invest our money properly and don't overinvest.
You've been listening to CFO Woody Whitcomb of LaFamilia Pawn and Jewelry.